Today we're going to look at 5 standout passages from the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, often referred to as the Tao Te Ching, and the author, who may or may not have been a real person, is often referred to as Lao Tzu. We'll get straight into it. This may be one of the most translated books in history, but this particular translation by D.C. Lau seems to be the standard one at the present time. I'm sure many others will come along, and some may supersede it as the definitive translation. But for now, we'll stick to this one. So I'm going to read 5 passages in English and Chinese, and instead of adding my own interpretations, I'll invite you to add your interpretations into the comments. The first passage is from chapter 8, so I'll read it first in Chinese and then in English. So, 上善若水，水善利万物而不争，处众人之所恶，故几于道。The highest good is like water. Water gives life to the 10,000 things and does not strive. It flows in space. It flows in places people reject, and so is like the Tao, or the Tao. So the highest good, so Shang Shan. So Shang meaning up, as in Shanghai on the sea. Shan, so in modern Chinese, this is in the word Shanliang, to be kind. So the highest good is like water. So I have my own opinions about this passage and some of the parallels in Western religious texts, but I'd like to know what you think in the comments. The next bit I want to read out is from chapter 29. 夫物或行或随，或觑或吹，或强或羸，或载或隳，是以圣人去甚，去奢，去肽。Sometimes things are ahead, and sometimes they are behind. Sometimes breathing is hard, sometimes it comes easily. Sometimes there is strength, and sometimes weakness. Sometimes one is up, and sometimes down. Therefore, the wise avoid extremes, excesses, and complacency. Religions and ideological systems around the world value frugality and humility, and that's what this seems to be saying. But I'm also slightly reminded of the biblical passage that is used in the song Turn, Turn, Turn by the Birds. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, etc., which is also commonly used at funerals, or used to be anyway. Next passage is from chapter 42. 万物负阴而抱阳，冲气以为和，人之所恶，为故寡不古，而王公以为称。The 10,000 things that carry yin and embrace yang, they achieve harmony by combining these forces. People hate to be orphaned, widowed, or worthless, but this is how the wise describe themselves. So, again, my takeaway, a very superficial one, would be nobody likes to be seen as low status or worthless, but the most powerful people and the wisest people identify as low status and worthless, because the more you realize you don't know, the more you're able to learn, maybe. So, the next passage, another thing I've noticed is the character, this character, which is pronounced in that particular passage, is pronounced in other contexts, in modern Chinese and ancient Chinese, is pronounced wu. So for example, xian is disgusting, whereas wu is evil. 可恶 is another word for disgusting. or vile. Next part from chapter 78. So again, I'll read the Chinese first. 天下莫柔弱于水，而攻坚强者莫之能胜，以其无以易之. So another one that's related to water. So under heaven, nothing is more soft and yielding than water. Yet for attacking the solid and strong, nothing is better. It has no equal. So maybe there's a parallel with Christianity there. The meek shall inherit the earth. So what do you think about that part from chapter 78? Last one is from chapter 81. So I'll read the Chinese first. 圣人不积，既以为人己愈有，既以与人己愈多。天之道，利而不害，圣人之道，为而不争. The wise never try to hold on to things. The more you do for others, the more you have. The more you give to others, the greater your abundance. The Tao of heaven is sharp, but does no harm. The Tao of the wise is to work without effort. So, I think that last character, I would probably, instead of translating it as effort, although far be it from me to disagree with D.C. Lao, I would probably translate it as fighting instead of effort, because in modern Chinese, 竞争 is to compete. 竞争对手, competitor, for example, that's our competitor. Or 竞争力, or 竞争, 这里的竞争很厉害, the competition is very intense. So, those are 5 standout passages from the Tao Te Ching, one of the greatest and most important books ever written, and one that, well, it would be missing the point to brush through it quickly, but it is something that you can read from start to finish in probably under an hour. And let me know what you think. Let me know what are your interpretations of those 5 passages down below, or critique the translations. If you were translating those passages, what would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments and hit that subscribe button.